So can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we are able to see your screen.
So like we can have a quick like around 10 to 15 minutes of theoretical, and then we can directly jump into like how we are going to set up the visual regression testing. Okay, so let me come for introduction. So okay, so what is visual regression testing? So anyone have experience, like anyone has worked on visual regression testing, like participants? Okay, so it's nothing but we are going to visually verify the user interface of the application. That too, when we are going to do so, it like if we are going to correct any data from the front end, or if we are going to change any of the UI components. So at that time, we need to visually verify what changes made our application, like whether it works. It 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 shows how the look and feel was good or not. So that was the introduction. So okay, so this slide just tells about like the what, who, where, when, and how we are going to do a visual regression testing. So like what is a visual regression testing? It's like nothing but a technique used to perform or verify the original images and also the current images with with either with screenshots or DOM, or else like the UI components or web pages or anything else, or the data, whatever the data we are going to use. So we are going to verify like how we are going to do that one. Okay. So next, like who are responsible? So mostly a quality analyst or UI developer. So UI developers, so as they develop a UI component, so they can do a visual regression testing with the current build and the existing previous build, like how the application has been changed and whether any of the UI components has been missed, any of the look and feel has been missed, or any mismatch happened between the current build and the previous build. So where does this testing occur? So when we are coming to this, so in traditional way, so we'll be comparing both the environments. Let us assume I'm having a dev environment and a testing environment. So if anything happened in dev, if any new UI component has been introduced, and we want to check the basic look and feel of the application, so what we'll do, we'll be checking with the dev environment and the testing environment. Like will be more dependent on the environments. But now how we are going to do? So here we are going to check, we are going to do the visual regression testing in an isolated environment. That means the testing does not depend on any of the functional or application business logics. So it will be in an isolated environment. The isolated environment will be like whatever I have a baseline. So I'll be having a baseline as one of the isolated environment, and the current build in the one of the isolated environment. So these are the things we are going to do. And also this can also be integrated with CI, and also in CI, like in continuous integration also, I can do the visual regression testing. So when it can be conducted? So this testing mostly it will be conducted during any new component has been developed or changed in the existing application. Like for example, if I am having a form field of like name and age, so I'm going to have like initially I'm having a text box with the normal corners. So if I'm going to introduce some of the UI component provider like Prime and G, I'm going to do the text box into a rounded corners. So at the time I can visually verify how the application has been changed, and also I can decide whether I need to make this change, I need to push this change into my build or not. So and how. So how we are going to do the testing? Like currently we are going to use the some screenshots, and we are going to compare each and every screenshot between the of each and every component screenshot from with my local or current build with the existing one. So this is like what, how, where, when, and how we are going to do visual regression testing. Just a short recap. So okay. And the next thing is like why the visual testing is very important. Like if you consider, so I have an application, so my application functionality works very fine and very smooth, so the client does not have any functionality errors or any bugs reported. But if my UI looks like something like clumsy or anything else, like it was not misaligned, so at that time the clients maybe might not be satisfied of that one. So at this point we need to do a visual regression testing. So some of the focused areas where we can do it, like in mobile apps, like mobile applications, whatever we are doing, and responsive web applications, marketing websites, content management systems, and like banking and travel. So mostly we can do visual regression testing on all type of applications. So this is the flow how we are going to do the visual regression testing. So first we need to take the screenshots of the current build, and then I'll be comparing those screenshots with my baseline builds. Like I'll be having a master build. In my local, I'll be having some changes. So I'll deploy and see whether how the master and my current build, if anything new UI has been introduced, or if anything existing UI has been changed. And then I'm going to report the differences. So what I'm going to do. So these are changes that has been introduced in this current in the existing build, in the current changes, whether you want to apply those changes to the master build or not, and then we are going to update it. So this is the some this slide shows some basic difference, the main difference between automated visual and manual visual. So when it comes to manual, so we need to have the screenshot separately, like maintaining the screenshot for each and every component. Like if I'm having a login page, I need to maintain a current build and new build, current build, previous build and new build. So like that I need to maintain. But when it comes to automation, so mostly it will be like a configuration file or anything like a cloud-based tool. So now we are going to see the demo in a cloud-based tool. Next, like it is like when it comes to manual, so we even a small pixel changes can also like affect the application appearance, so the layout or anything else. But when it comes when we are doing manual, so we could not able to see some deep pixel changes, or if anything has been like slightly misaligned, so those things we might miss. But in automated visual regression testing, so we can capture each and every pixels of the layout and appearance, and also the misalignments, also everything. And the third one is like if in manual, so we need to do the changes manually, and then we need to push it into a repo. When it comes to automation, so some of the tools provide integration with integration with Jenkins and Git, so that each and every time if I review or accept my build, so automatically the code, the whatever the code I have reviewed, it will be committed into my Git. So if I have some local changes and I'm currently building the currently, like I'm currently deploying and verifying the visual changes. So if I need to accept my changes, so that automatically I can use that particular tool, and I can able to push the new changes in the Git also. So this is some basic difference whatever I have explored here. So, and these are some of the open and commercial tools. So open source tools, we have like around a lot of open source. When it comes to commercial, so we have like Applitools, Chromatic, and Percy. So these are some of the open source and commercial tools. Okay. So till this, if anyone has doubts, so that they can raise your hands. If anybody is having doubt, or like what do you... Okay, so we can proceed further, right? Okay. Okay, so now, like initially I said, right? So the what, who, where, when, and how. So we can see how we are going to do the testing, visual testing here. So I'm going to use a storybook concept with one of the commercial tool called Chromatic. So Storybook is nothing but a UI development environment and a playground for UI components. So what it does, so whatever the UI developer creates a UI component, right? So they can write as stories, and if they run that stories, it will be deployed in an isolated environment. So it does not affect the current application environment. It will directly launch an isolated environment, so that it will be easy for us to verify if any of the UI changes has made my application like misaligned or something else. So I don't need to go and push the code, but directly I can change and verify it in my Storybook UI itself. So this is one of the main advantages. Like it will be in a isolated environment, and it can be interactive also. So whatever changes we are doing in our code, it will automatically compile and show it in my storybook. So storybook, like it supports multiple languages like Angular, React, Vue, HTML, etc., etc. And then we can create a story. So how the storybook works? So the name itself says like storybook. So it will be whatever the components we are creating, right? So we'll be having it as a stories in our front end code base. So each story will be compiled and it will be shown in an isolated environment, and then there we can verify our changes. So as I have already mentioned, right, so the storybook will be working irrespective of the logic and functionality. It will be fully concentrated only on the UI. So how my UI looks, and if any changes has happened, how my UI looks. So instead of before seeing it in any of my local host or anything like in my developer environment, I can directly see it in an isolated environment, and then I can, like, if anything I feel like I need to change, if I change it, it will be interactive. So whatever changes I'm doing, if we refresh the page, automatically it will be shown. So the changes will be shown here. So this is the usage of storybook. Okay. So when the coming to the tool, so what tool I'm going to use? So I'm going to use Chromatic. So Chromatic is a tool which was developed by Storybook, and also it is a commercial tool. It was developed by the people who invented the Storybook. So Chromatic is a commercial tool, but what it provides, so instead of like a traditional commercial tool, so if it comes to commercial tool, there will be many restrictions, but Chromatic is like totally different. So what it allows to have a multiple projects within a single user account, and also it allows to it how it works. It works based upon our Git commits. So whatever the commit, whatever Git repo I'm using, I can able to integrate with my Chromatic tool. And also the one more thing is like it provides a secure cloud workspace, and also it provides how can we say it as a, so each project will be created based upon a secured CDN. So even though I am a user, so I can able to use only to the I can able to use my dashboard until unless I run the respective secure CDN. So if any of the, if I want to access the project which is outside my access or outside my CDN, I could not able to access. So here, so whenever we are going to, so for each and every project we are going to integrate with Chromatic, right? So they'll be having a separate secure CDN and also secure cloud workspace also. So when it comes to like the features, right? So it provides us around 5,000 builds per month. So for a project, for a single project, a user can have 5,000 builds. If I'm going to have like multiple demo projects, so each project will be having a 5,000 builds. And also and also it also for free user now it provides like the support for CA and Git also. So initially we can create a repo and integrate with the Chromatic, and in a repo in the Git, and if we integrate in Git Chromatic, most probably it will, like initially it was like a payable thing, but now what they, so we can directly go and create a repo in Git, and we can integrate with Chromatic, and whatever code we are going to do, so we can able to perform that. So only one thing whatever I can't do here is the cross browser testing. So for cross browser testing alone, we need to go for the commercial version. So that was one disadvantage, but if you look at advantage, we can have multiple builds for a single project. So now we'll jump into the demo. So this is one of the app whatever we had for a demo. So like this app will have like the details of the heroes. So that's it. So now we'll go and play around the UI thing alone, not the logic, only the UI thing. So probably I will. Okay. So okay, I can show the app here. So whatever app I have developed here. So this is the app. So I have developed here. It contains a dashboard and a heroes list. So in the dashboard, whenever I click the dashboard here, it will show some of the hero. It will show that particular hero details. And if I click on the heroes, I will list down all the heroes here. So now for demo, so we are going to have.
Sorry to interrupt, Arun Kumar. I think Perumal has raised his hand. I'll allow him to talk.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perumal, please unmute yourself to ask the question.
Perumal, can you unmute yourself? Okay. I think there's issue with this network. Maybe probably you can post your questions in the QA box. We can try answering it from there.
Okay. So for demo purpose, right? So I'm going like I have two links. One is dashboard and heroes. So for demo purpose, so we are going to see the demo only for this heroes link. Like how I have built this one, what happens whenever if I change the UI, and what happens if we have some changes in the bar. Like I have created like 3 to 4 components. The list of heroes will be a component. Adding the adding section will be one of the component. My message will be one of the component. So I have created like around three components here. So we can show it. I will show it in demo, like how can we set up and how can we do the visual regression testing here. Okay, so I will open my code. Okay, so this was the code whatever I have done here. So these are the components. The first component is the messages, and next is the heroes, and first is the heroes, second is the cards, and third is the messages. The heroes component will be having the list of all the heroes. Like the cards component will be having the add button, add a heroes button, and then messages component. Like whenever if I add any hero, it will show a message. Here we are going to see only the UI part, not the functionality things. So okay, first we will set up the storybook. So for setting up storybook, right? So we have certain commands. Okay, I think someone has raised. Okay, so for setting up storybook, right? So we have certain steps to do that one. The first thing is like, okay, I'll present it here. Okay, so the first thing is like we need to add a support storybook CLI for Angular project. So we need to add the storybook support for Angular project. So for this, we need to use this command npx storybook Angular CLI. Okay, I will. So
Okay. Arun Kumar, he has posted the question. So I wanted to ask whether it works for React Native app.
yeah, it will work for all types of all. It supports all the languages like React, Vue, and also it works. We can also implement for mobile applications also. Probably I can.
Yeah, you can carry on, Arun.
Okay, sure. I will. Okay, so now what we are going to do is first I'm going to install the storybook CLI for Angular. So this is the command npx-p. So the whatever language we want, right? If we want to do it for React, I can directly give it as React here instead of Angular. If it is HTML, directly I can give as HTML here. So, but if we are going, the HTML setup will be quite easy because there are no much dependency, right? Whenever if we come for Angular or React, like we need to, for Angular, we need to set up the Angular project first, and then we need to implement the storybook. So I'll implement the Angular storybook here.
And we have one more question. Can we able to compare the icon from Figma instead of Storybook?
Okay. I think we can compare the icon, but I'm not sure about the Figma. I have not heard about the Figma concept, but we can able to compare the icons. Probably I can show it, like I have a icon implemented in my demo, so I can show it. Like, but I have used from Prime NG, but I'm not sure about, so I have not explored about Figma. So it will take quite some time. Okay, sorry. Okay, so meanwhile we can I will show the tool, so the dashboard of the tool. So this is the Chromatic web page here. So and this will be my dashboard. So I have had like multiple projects added. So the first thing is like we need to sign in with our GitHub credentials. So once after signing with GitHub, I need to add a project. So here now I'm okay. Let me see. Okay, it was installing. Okay, meanwhile, I can add the project also here. So I will add a project. So it will ask me to choose from GitHub, or we need to directly create a project. So what we know, I will be having my GitHub project. So I have already committed some of my changes. So I'll directly implement this one. So the next thing is like it will ask us to install the Chromatic package and also the secure CDN dependencies. So once this was done, probably we'll install those two things. It will take quite some time for installing this one. Okay, it was done, I think so. Because it will try to configure a project based upon the storybook and some isolated thing. So it will take some time for installing the storybook components alone. Okay, so now I think it was done. Okay. So like it will ask us for the commands, whatever commands and the dependencies. Like, so these are the dependencies where it was by loaded. So I can show you like what was the actions. So storybook supports some basic actions like click, select or anything. So for that we need to have this add-ons here. Okay. So whenever if you are going for like one UI component or like Prime MG, so we need to do some configuration. So probably I can show that now. Okay, so now I had my storybooks. So here, if you see, okay, so it is generating. So now you can see a folder called .storybook. So in this, the main.js, right? So this is the entry file for all the stories. So here you can see a folder called stories. So what happens, whatever the stories we are writing, right? So the main entry point for the storybook will be this main.js. So like I need to specify the path of the stories, and also I need to provide the add-ons. Like if I'm going to perform any action like a basic click or anything, so I need to provide this add-on like links. So if I click any of the UI component, and then it will be redirected to another UI component, then I need to have the links. And notes is nothing but it will provide a normal, a basic like alert, a pop-up message or a basic information message will be showing. So first we can see this one, and the next thing is like the stories. So by default it will create you some basic stories. So here you can see the stories, like they have created a component called welcome, and here the name will be like to storybook. So here the to storybook is one of the add-on. What it does, it will be it will be like a link, like a link to the, sorry, it is the story name. What I'm going to do, for this component, I'm going to provide this name, welcome to storybook. And when it comes for this default thing, it is the button stories, like whatever the button. So like with button, what I can do. So a hello button and the emoji. So after that, what I will do, so I'll be showing some actions on the emoji. So these are the default stories. Like whenever if we generate a storybook, we'll be having these default stories. So first we look into that one. So I will go here. Okay. So I will go to my, so for running the storybook, right? So once if we install it in my packages, and I'll be having a command name storybook. So this will start my storybook in a isolated environment with this port number. So this port number is like editable. So you can use whatever port you want. By default, it will launch in 6006. So now I run npm run storybook. So like this storybook, right, it will be very useful in perspective of UI developers or developers who mainly work in the front end, the projects which is mainly focused on front end. So for that, those projects, we can probably have the storybook implementation for each and every UI component. Like you can see your, you don't want to worry like how it comes or how it works, but you can directly see if you launch the storybook UI, you can directly go and see whatever changes you're doing, that will be reflected here. And also you can see another one command also here, build storybook, right? So this one, what it will do, it will be providing you a build file. So now you can see the stories. So we have generated two basic stories. One is the welcome story. So whatever I said, right, welcome was one of my component. Then I am adding my component with this to storybook, the thing. So this was one of the basic thing. And when it comes to button stories, right? So here you can see a button with hello button. So this was one button. Then they have a default emoji picker. So whenever I have, all the emojis will be inside a button. Then what they are doing some basic actions. So if I click here, then you can see this was clicked. So the basic click actions, you can do it here. And the next thing is, this will be based upon the add-on. So whatever add-on I have shown you here, right? So the add-on, so button add-on, but action add-on. So it will be added here. It will be used here. And when it comes to the link, right? So if I click like go to welcome story, what it does, it directly goes to this story. Now if I click, I'm clicking here. If you see, it directly goes to this story. So I can probably show it in you in the, okay. So this was the story. This is my story here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a button with the text welcome to story. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to link it to one of the components. So this is the welcome component. That means it will be here. Sorry, not here. It will be the component whatever we are using here. So this component. So this is the component I'm going to redirect. So This was the basic storybook setup, whatever we do. When coming to to our application specific, right? So what I'm going to do, so in my application I have used some prime mg and css things. So for that I'm going to add some other configurations for my css. Probably I can copy it from here. So one is my config.js and one is my main.js css. I will copy and paste it here. So now you can see the configurations, like which module I'm going to use, the context, the what are the stories should be required, and what should be my file and my css loader. So everything I am going to give it here. Probably we'll re-verify it because this won't work until unless if we are having any extra spaces or anything else. And this is for, so since I'm using prime ng and prime icons, I need to import this add-ons also. So now let me check here in main.css. Okay. Okay. I need to install the prime-ng. Okay. Okay. I will install the prime icons. So let the storybook be in the compile mode in the debugger. Let it be building. So next one will be my range. So I will have these two dependencies in my project now. So prime ng and prime icons are nothing but they are some of the UI component providers. Like we have some specified UI things. Probably I can show it here. Like okay, so now I have added my prime ng and prime. So it takes slowly. Okay. So now I have given the configuration for my CSS and also for my stories also, like what story I'm going to use, Angular story or anything else. So if it is HTML, we don't need to add this config.js since we are using Angular. So we need to have some of the Angular dependencies within our storybook. Okay. So now we'll jump on to how we are going to publish this into our chromatic tool. So we need to run this command. So npm install chromatic. So this will do it will create our chromatic dependencies in our project. Like the chromatic dependency in the sense, the how the chromatic works. So whenever I'm going to do some visual regression testing, so what it will do, it will get my current local thing or whatever the latest build, right? It will get that latest build and run the code in a storybook in an isolated environment with, and also it will run the previous build in an isolated environment. Then it will compare both the screenshots or both the DOMs, and it will show what are the difference I have made in the previous build and my current build. Either it might be in Git or in a local. So it will do both the ways. So if I have committed to my Git, then if I run the chromatic command, what it will do, the previous build and the current build, both the builds it will verify. If I have not committed into my Git and I need to see how my changes has been implemented, then what it will do, then it will try to pull from my local and it will verify and show me the differences. So now the chromatic dependencies are getting loaded. Okay. Okay, like it has added some packages for chromatic. Then what I need to do, then I need to publish my project to the secure CDN. So this is the token which will be generated uniquely for each and every project. So I'll copy this token. Now I will paste it here. So now this will take some time to publish your project into a chromatic, into the cloud for the chromatic. Like whatever the logs it is creating, it will show. Like since it does not have any baseline commits, it will show everything here. So probably it will take some time. I can explain you through the code. Like, so here it will be with the full setup. So I have already mentioned, like, I have three components. One is for listing the heroes. One is to show the add component of the heroes, and the other thing is the showing the message, like clearing and the message and adding the message. So when it comes for the HTML, right? Like as usual, I have used the normal HTML, normal HTML. So here it will be having a normal HTML, like the normal logic, whatever we are going to use. In TypeScript, I have done. So the logic, we have used the mock for having all the hero details here, and then I have implemented the logic in my component, like what I need to do when I'm going to select any heroes or anything else. So those things I have. When it comes to this add button, right, I'll just have a add button, add input. Sorry, add input button. That's it. It will show a input text and the text box and an add button. Like this is, I have created this one as a separate component. Okay, it's doing it. And then it comes to messages, like whenever if I'm showing any detail of the hero, right, at the time I'll be showing a message like this user details was shown, like that I'll be showing. So for that I can have like a accept button and a clear button. Either I can accept that message or I can able to clear that message. So that means there are only two buttons as a component. So that is the HTML code here. So I have added the logic for here. So if you see here, so we can have the full logic of the application here. Like, so this is the add button. So if I'm adding like some hero, some name like Apple, it will be added here. If I want to delete this, I will be deleting it here. So this is the, I have drilled down the total page into three components. One is the adding, one is the list, and one is the clearing of the user. So I have disabled here the message. Whenever we are trying to add, it will show a message here, hero added. If I'm deleting this one, hero deleted, like that, it will be showing. So I have drilled down to a single, I drilled down this page into like three components, and I'm building it together. So now, yeah, so it will be asking like whether we need to add the script for running the chromatic. Yes, you can give. So now the chromatic was been set up. Now if I go and see in my UI, right, it will be showing like this, and then it will ask us to run a demo thing. So what we can do, like I'll go to one of my story here, not this one. Yeah, so I'll go to the story. I'll just remove one of, like it will ask us to, it was asking us to catch a change, right? So I'm going to do that one. So now here you see I have not committed anything. So in my Git I'll be having only the basic code, but now I have cannot committed anything, right? So now I'm going to run. So this is the command we are going to use for running the chromatic. So npm run chromatic, and moreover it takes hardly around 1 to 2 minutes for building a like 4 to 5 components. So now you can see it here. My compilation also was successful, and now I'm building the storybook and going to publish the result. So initially we had like, can you see here? It was found one baseline commit. So initially there was no commits. Sorry, there was only like now only one. There are no baseline commits. Now I have changed something. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to compare this baseline with my existing one. So now here what it will do, it will collect all the storybook metadata, and after that it will be running, it will build the storybook in an isolated environment. Okay, so now it was build can you see here for 2 stories, it took around 52 seconds. So moreover, if we have like 4 to 5 or multiple, I have checked with 5 stories. So it was hardly around 1 minute 30 seconds. So for building and publishing and everything. So now it will publish the storybook result here. Like it will provide the URL here. Either we can directly go to the URL, or else if we have opened the URL previously, we can. So already there will be a build one with my baseline commit. Now I'm going to have this one, like 2 components with 5 stories. Here it will say like, yeah. So now you can see one visual change has been found. Okay, let me go to the UI here. Let me refresh. So what it will show? Okay, so now you can see one component change. Verify the changes to confirm they are improvements or bugs. So we can able to see whether it is an improvement or bug. So now here, what this was my new one. So in my baseline, I have 100 here. In my new, I don't have the 100 here. Either I can toggle off the difference also, and I can show it here. Like probably I can show it you in the mirror. Either you can accept and continue, or else you can able to skip it. So accept this change so that I can able to see my dashboard. Like, okay. So these are some automatic messages. Okay. Now I can go to my component in the dashboard. So I'll be given a dashboard for this particular project. And now I have 2 bills now as of now. So this was my first bill. And since I haven't committed, so what it will do, it will publish the storybook changes in my local, and then it will start verifying with my master bill 2046909. Okay. So, okay, let me jump into our demo. Okay. So probably I can show the demo here. So for this, right, so we need to have a version either with the 10.13 or 12. So now I will deploy now I'll open my local host, the project, whatever we are going to use. So here I will show you how it looks. Let the storybook be in compiling mode itself so that we can, okay, meanwhile we can add some stories for this particular logic. So I can have some stories here. I'm having some stories here. I'll copy these things. Okay. Probably I'll explain you the code because we are running out of time. I thought of coding it here. Oh, sorry. I will paste it. So I thought of coding it on hands, but we are running out of time. So I will add from my existing thing. Okay. So now, yeah, still it's compiling. Okay, I'll show you here. So these are the 2 things whatever by default was generated, and these are the 4 stories I have created now. So the first one is like a basic UI element story. So what I'm going to do is here, okay, I'll remove this. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a button component in my UI. So here I have used PrimeNG. So PrimeNG is one of the component provider for Angular. So Angular or React or Vue for everything. So here I have used a button component here. So I should have a welcome text, and my button label should be PrimeNG button, and the class style class. So these classes are provided by PrimeNG components, and I am having a icon in my button, like a circle icon, like cross icon in my button. And then I'm going to do some action. So this action we are not validating. So, okay. So now what I'll do, okay, I think it was compiled. Okay. So this was the UI. So whenever I click here, it will show some details about Rajinikanth, and it will show some details about Kamal. So this UI only we are going to validate. So when it comes to my storybook, right? Whenever I come here, okay. Okay, I think it was asking for some other dependencies. Probably I can show it in another, like the existing demo itself. Okay, I'm having it here. I'll run npm run. So for this PrimeMG, right? So we have used some form modules. So for those, it will try to ask for some dependencies need to be installed. So we don't want to waste some time on installing those things. Probably I have the same app in another code already configured thing. I will show it here. Not a problem. So meanwhile, I'll go to that project. So this is the basic setup for doing for integrating the Chromatic with Storybook dashboard. Sorry, Storybook with Chromatic dashboard. Just I need to link my Git repo with the Chromatic, and it will give me a secure CDN. So with that CDN, I will be running. So what was the command to run the Storybook? It was the npm run Storybook. By default, it will run in 6006, or else we can able to change the code. To publish my changes or review my changes, what I need to do, I need to run npm run Chromatic. So this will, what it will do, if I'm having like two recent builds committed in my Git, what it will do, it will build those two builds, run those two builds in an isolated Storybook environment, two separate environments, and show me the differences. If I assume, so you can see the demo, like I haven't committed my code. So what it was doing, so it will pull the code, it will pull the code in my local, run it in an isolated environment, and get the code from Git current Git master, and then it will run it in an isolated Storybook environment and compare and provide the changes. Okay, so I will go to the project, whatever I have used here. So like the already configured project, so that we don't want to waste time. Okay, probably I'll review this one, or else it won't allow us to. Okay. So now, okay, see, now it was showing like already available. If you want to use, like it will go to some other code. Okay, so now I can able to see the Storybook component with these elements. Okay, fine. Still looks okay. Link. Okay, done. So okay, so the first one was my whatever I said, right? The first story, it was the basic UI element. It will show the UI element with PrimeNG button, with some button success, and then I'm going to have an icon here. So now you can see the icon, cross icon, PrimeNG button. So whenever I click, it will be showing the mouse event with high. But we are not going to validate. So what if we have given any notes here? It will be provided in the notes section. So this was the one. This was the first one. Okay. So now let me change something here, like whatever question we have got, right? So I'm going to remove this icon. So what it will do now? So after removing the icon, I can able to see whether it was fine or not. Oh, sorry, I was removing it here. Okay. Okay, so now I'll remove it here. Also, I'll update the code box. Okay. So now you can see my build was successful here. And if I go and see here I have removed my icon here. Okay, so now, okay, this was the first thing. And the next thing is, right? Okay, let me come for the next story, which is heroes list. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to show only the heroes list. Like we are not going to validate these actions, but I'm going to show one of the heroes list. So now you can able to either I can, so I'll go to heroes component.css. Here what I'll do, I'll just, we can also verify the pixel radiuses, right? So I'll just make it like 60. So now here if you see here, probably I will zoom and show you. Okay. So if you see here, right, there was some border here, right? So because like I have changed some pixel and I could able to see this. So what I'll do now, I'll change this pixel to 6 pixel and 7 pixel. I'll save it. Let me check. Yes, my build was successful. So now you could not able to see that extra space. So those type of things you can able to validate with the storybook, and also you can able to catch in chromatic also. Probably I'll show that also. So the next thing is like my add listing, add hero component. This is a normal hero component. Either if I need to, if like I am going here and I will okay, so I will change it as add, or else I'm going to use some prime and G component and I'm going to add the button. I'm going to change the button component view. So those things we can do it here. So now you can see then and there it will be there. And this is the clear and add. So probably we can show some difference here. Like initially it was like this. I'll give a like a BR. Sorry, okay. I'll put this inside a div. I am going to put this inside a div. So now I will see my build was successful, and you can see it here, right? So these are the changes I have done here. So if you look into that one, right, my current master, my current committed master does not have these changes. And also you can see here, this build was like 12D 3004. This will be, this particular thing does not have these changes. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the chromatic here. So now I run npm run chromatic here. So let me see how it works. So these changes are in my local, but what it will do, it will pull the local code and have a separate storybook for that one. And then we'll pull the committed code, previous committed code, and have it in a separate storybook. Then it will start doing the visual regression testing. Like it will take the screenshot of each and every component, compare those two things, and also it will generate the DOM from the storybook. So it will go and compare each and every DOM of the component, and it will show the DOM difference also. So now you can see, probably I can show you the difference here. So this storybook also allows us to deploy the local OS 6000, right? We can also deploy it, like it will provide some build files. We can take the build file, and if we can also have and deploy it as a separate environment for each and every project. Like for a particular project, I can, instead of running it, we can have a separate URL for that one, like a local host URL. Like you don't need to go and run npm storybook each and every time. So if I have deployed that particular localhost URL, if we go and hit the URL itself, it will show the changes for me. So you could see like we are having around 4 components. The total time took for those for building and publishing, right? It was around like 60, 70, like 80 seconds. Moreover, 1 minute 30 seconds. So now you can see there were 4 changes found in the particular local commit, local build, local code. So I'll go here. Now it will be showing like it was checking with my 12D 3004 master with my local storybook. So I click here. So now it will show all the 4 component changes. So let me check for the first one. Okay, I'll click on this first one. So now you can see in my baseline master, right, bill number 15 on master, what it was showing the prime ng button with an icon. In my new build, right, it was showing like prime ng. So whether I need, and also you can see the DOM. So the DOM will be generated from my storybook. So you can see here what was the changes made here. And also either you can accept or deny. So let us assume I'm going to deny this one. So what happens? It will be stored. And then it comes for the second one. The second component also, what I initially you can see here, I have like rounded edges. It was something clumsy in my UI. So now what I have done, I have made the rounded edges as a squared one. So here you can see it will be highlighted in green color also. So yeah, so you can see the green color, right? So green color was the changes made. So now here, since it was in rounded, it was something clumsy. So I have changed the pixels here. So now what it was done, it will show it in some green color. The changes will be in green color. So either I want here, I can able to accept or deny. I will accept it here. And also here, what I have changed, I have made like I have capitalized the add button. So that also it will be highlighted here. I will accept this one. And here, like I have added a div. So the what it has made, my div has made the add button to align somewhere else. Like this was the changes. Like the total green thing was the changes here. So what I will do, I will accept here. So since I have one denied changes, my bill will be in orange color, like a failed bill. So either, okay, I will go. So I can revoke the my decision, like I will undeny, and I can able to accept it here. So if I accept, what it happens, it will be in the bill will be in green color. So these are the changes then. So what it does, so since we are in trial version, it won't allow us to push the changes to Git. Just I'm going to accept whether my code changes were correct or not. So that was the thing, the main thing we are going to see here. So the master code, and I have implemented some new changes in my local, and then like whether I want to have it like have this one or not. So that based upon the decision, like it will make the build as green or red. So this will be like how it will be. So if if my build was red, and if I'm committing those changes, what it will do, then it will run my failure build based on done my new build based upon the failure build, and then it will do some changes and it will show, and everything will be present in the screenshot. Like each and every component, it will take a screenshot. The whole page, the whole web page, it will take a screenshot, and then it will show it in the UI here. So now we'll see. Okay, so here you can see like 4 visual changes has been made and everything else. So now I have committed the changes. So the final thing, like I'll take some 5 more minutes. So we need to verify the pixel changes, right? A small demo for that one. So here I'll go to this component. So now I'll make this as like 65 pixels, and I'll make this as 75 pixels here. So it will capture all the things, like I will change the color also here. Like so I will go and change the color to something else, like okay, I'll choose this aquamarine. So now we have had 2 changes in our code. So my web was built. Now I will try to see it here. So you can see the pixel changes also has been here, and also the UI changes. So now if we try to run this, right, now it will capture my pixel changes also. So like each and every minute changes we can able to capture we can able to capture and avoid those things to be promoted to the higher environments, those UI changes. Instead of having it, instead of going to a higher environment and fixing it, we can able to fix that in our local isolated environment, and we can deploy the code to the next higher environments. So this was the main concept of visual regression testing. Since there are so many open source tools, we can also use some. So like since it was very interactive with the dashboards and everything, the security connections. So I have went for this Chromatic, and also there is another tool called Apply Tools. So the same thing, it will provide a dashboard. It will provide you graphical results also, like how many test cases passed and everything. When it comes for like open source, we need to do each and every configuration, and also the same thing will happen. It will take and provide the one thing is like if it comes for open source, we need to have the screenshot saving mechanism within ourselves. Like I need to have explicitly mentioned this folder and that folder. That means it will allow us like it will take much space and we need to do some maintenance and everything. But this is what it will do. It will, since it was a storybook implementation, it will have it in the storybook in an isolated environment, and also it will like it won't have much manual intervention. The only thing is we are going to do those things. So if you see here, there was one visual change happened. We can check in our UI, and also we are having the option to send automatic emails. So now you can see some automatic emails has been coming to my mail ID. Like this was the change it was done. So now I'll go here. There was a change in the heroes. What it was done, the color has been changed, and also my pixels also has been changed. Either I can able to accept or deny. Yes, I'll accept this, and it will be in the aqua blue color. So this is the main motto or main outcome of visual regression testing. Like each and everything, even though a small color change can make our UI look something different, so those things can be captured priorly in the isolated environment if you use Storybook with Chromatic. So that's it for this presentation. So anybody's having some queries or anything? Hello?
Okay. Thank you so much, Arun Kumar, for the hands-on session. I think it will be very informative for the folks. So maybe we can spend next 2 minutes. If folks have any questions, please ping it in the chats. Okay, we've got one question. What about dynamic data to test?
So dynamic data, right? So I have been verified with dynamic data since I have used the direct marks. So in my point of view, like dynamic data, right? Like each and every time if we load the page, if it changes, probably I think we can able to capture that. Since I haven't explored the dynamic data, so probably I can explore and see how it works. Like static data we can able to capture and have it. If it comes for dynamic, like if we are having some pricing mechanism or anything else, then we need to, I think that there might be some more logic that need to be implemented.
We have one more question. Is it possible to integrate with Zeppelin where all the UI components placed?
So I think yes, probably I can let you know so about like whether we can integrate with Zeppelin or not, but it should be possible to integrate with Zeppelin. So as per my knowledge, I think whatever the Chromatic and Storybook, I have seen only like the Jenkins only they are providing. Jenkins and Travis. Okay, I can show you here. I think probably I'll let you know like whether it provides. I think it should provide access for Zeppelin also. Since I have familiar with Jenkins, I haven't looked into the Zeppelin. Okay, folks. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity, Shakti and Monica.
Yeah, thank you, Arun Kumar.
Thank you, Arun.